Welcome to Prophets of Babel with your host, Janine, as we start the second Torah of Moses, also known as the Book of Joseph.
Second Sefer of Moses, also known as the Book of Joseph. The record of our father Joseph, son of Jacob and Rachel, savior of Israel, as written by the hand of Moses. Chapter 1, the birth of two nations. And this is the remembrance of the generations of Joseph, the son of Jacob, the son of Isaac, the son of Abraham, which account was written by the hand of Moses by the word of Yahweh. And it came to pass that as Rachel, the wife of Jacob, went drawing water from the well, the angel of Yahweh came before her, saying, Fear not, handmaiden of Yahweh, for thou art a chosen vessel to bear a choice branch unto Yahweh. And Rachel said unto the angel of Yahweh, I know not what you say, my Lord. And the angel said unto her, Jacob, thy husband, shall be a tree of life, reaching unto all the earth. Yea, and over the walls shall his branch reach, even unto the isles of the sea, which are far off. And his seed shall rule all the lands and trample down all the people. For Yahweh, Elohim Shaddai, shall make strong his seed. Rachel, see that thy reproach is taken away from thee, and thou shalt bear a son, and thou shalt call his name Joseph. For Yahweh, the Elohim of you and of your seed, shall make of him two great nations, yea, even mighty nations before Yahweh. And after she had seen and heard these things, Rachel ran down unto her husband Jacob, and said unto him, Yahweh hath taken away my reproach, and hath opened up my womb. And I shall bear thee a son, which we shall call Joseph, and he shall be two great and mighty nations before Yahweh. And when Jacob heard, he knew not what to think, but he went and did make an offering unto Yahweh. Then Jacob cried out, saying, O Yahweh Elohim, yea, even El Elyon, the creator of the heavens and the earth, surely through my seed shall ye know thyself faithful of the promises made unto my fathers. And Yahweh did hear Jacob, and the angel of Yahweh did appear unto Jacob over the offering, saying, Jacob, Jacob, Yahweh is well pleased with thee. Thou shalt be given a son, and ye shall call his name Joseph, for he shall be a great and mighty nation before Yahweh. And out of the loins of thy son Joseph shall Yahweh bring many sons and daughters into his glory, and salvation unto many of thy seed, and all of the seed of thy father Abraham. And it came to pass that Rachel did bring forth a son, and they called his name Joseph. And it came to pass that the angel of Yahweh appeared unto Jacob in a dream, saying, Jacob, thy son Joseph shall be two great and mighty nations in the hand of Yahweh. And these nations shall be greater than any nations upon the face of the earth. And yet only a remnant shall see my face and live. Behold, wisdom shall increase in the latter days, and mankind shall make mighty weapons of war, yea, even terrible weapons, which shall touch the power of El Elyon. And the seed of Joseph shall believe a lie, even that the terrible weapons shall be had to make peace, and for the protection of their lands. Woe unto that, for the people shall be deceived. And then Jacob awoke, and the Spirit of Yahweh took Jacob and showed him a vision, saying, Behold, the mighty men of the earth shall lay an awful scheme by the word of their God. Yea, even that they should destroy Yahweh in that day, that he shall visit mankind to judge the sons of men and reward them according to their works. And all nations shall gather as one in the heart of the earth to make war with Yahweh, even the Almighty King of the heavens and of the earth. Woe, woe, woe unto the chief princes of the earth, who have made gold their god and a lie their refuge. For they have said among themselves, Yahweh is no God that we should fear, for by our mighty power have we become gods ourselves, and have spread abroad all over the earth. Yet they shall be judged and cut off from among the sons of Jacob, saith Yahweh, for the wicked plot in vain, and they shall drink from the cup of vanity which they have grasped. For I, Yahweh, shall utterly destroy them, all by the very light of my presence. And lo, those who plot in vain have over them a king, even he whose name is the liar from the beginning, even that adversary, he who was a morning star in my presence. But this Satan shall be bound, that accuser, even he who has granted them their great authority, and so too shall Lilith, that serpent who giveth them their crowns, and who hath whispered lies into their ears like a cunning serpent which lieth in the dust. And Yahweh shall come and bind them with cords which cannot be loosed, and seal them up with a seal which cannot be broken. And these have led them astray by their foolish wisdom, which has become folly in the sight of heaven. Woe unto them, for they have tried to lay waste to Eden, the very garden of Elohim, and made the inhabitants of the earth to stumble exceedingly, causing them to be drunk from the cup of blindness, and to feast upon the table of their rebellion. Therefore comfort themselves with these words, my beloved Israel, for verily I, Yahweh, reign supreme over all Elohim, and shall swiftly bring justice, which cannot be overthrown. And Jacob was astonished at all Yahweh had shown him, for weak was his understanding, and without strength was his soul in the presence of Yahweh. Chapter 2, The Dreamer of Dreams. And it came to pass that Joseph, the son of Rachel and Jacob, grew in stature, and Joseph was a peculiar child, full of knowledge and wisdom. And it came to pass that the angel of Yahweh appeared unto Jacob, saying, Make a tunic for thy son Joseph, and place on it the holy emblems of the priesthood of Yahweh for thy Elohim. And thou shalt lay thy hands upon him, and ordain him to be a high priest unto El Elyon, and instruct him in the hidden wisdom of Yahweh, yea, even the hidden treasures of knowledge, which have been known among thy fathers, as given unto thy father Abraham and thy mother Sarah, for my servant Melchizedek. For I shall cause thy son Joseph to go down into a land full of idolatry and iniquity, and there I shall cause him to be a Messiah among the people for the sake of thy seed. And he shall bear the power of El Elyon, and he shall become a mighty ruler among them. And through him shall I, Yahweh, bless whomsoever he shall bless, and curse whomsoever he shall curse. For my name shall be in him, and great shall be his name in that land. Wherefore their king shall know that he is Zadok Yekad. Now Zadok Yekad is like a savior of their time. And behold, he shall seal up the blessings of the holy priesthood for the generations which are afar off, that Elyon may have witnesses for himself in the last days, before the great and final day, when Yahweh himself shall come and reward the sons of men according to their works, whether they be good or whether they be evil. Even so it must be. Amen. And it came to pass that Jacob made a tunic, even a coat of many colors, according to the word of Yahweh, and he placed it upon his son Joseph. And Jacob did bless him with all of the hidden blessings of wisdom, instructed him in the secret knowledge of Yahweh, whereunto Joseph should be a high priest of El Elyon, even at a young age. And it came to pass that Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father did reside, even the land of Canaan. Now Jacob loved Joseph, the son of his old age. And when his brethren saw that their father had ordained him a high priest of Yahweh, and made him a coat of many colors, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. And it came to pass that Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray ye, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field. And lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaf stood round about, and made obedience unto my sheaf. And his brethren said to him, shalt thou indeed reign over us? Which is to say, shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. And it came to pass that he dreamed yet another dream, and told it to his brethren, and said, Behold, I've dreamed a dream more. Behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obedience unto me. And he told it unto his father and to his mother and unto his brethren and their sister. And his father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee, to the earth? But once Joseph departed, Jacob turned unto his other sons and rebuked them, saying, Joseph is a chosen vessel, whom Yahweh hath chosen, and it is according to his purposes. And who are you that you dare accuse Elyon? Truly Yahweh hath chosen him for his own purposes, and ye shall well abide under it. For this is the word of Yahweh. And when Jacob had finished speaking, his sons murmured among themselves, and his brethren envied him. But his father observed the saying. And it came to pass that his brethren went to feed the flock of their father in Shechem. And Joseph, being but 14 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren. And the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And it came to pass that they did mock Joseph, their brethren, and placed a heavy burden upon him, that he might know their displeasure. And Joseph left them, and they mocked as he went his way. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. And repenting, Jacob came again unto his son Joseph, saying, Fear not, my son, as Yahweh hath decreed his decree, thou shalt be a prince over me and all mine house. Yet pride has filled thy heart. Therefore let no boasting be found at all in thy mouth, yea, neither in thy heart, lest thou fall under condemnation. For Yahweh Elohim hateth a proud and boastful heart. Yea, and thou did come unto this world naked, and thou shalt leave it naked. Therefore remember this, my son. Yahweh exalts whom he will, and Yahweh abases whom he will. Therefore thou shalt keep thy heart humble before Elyon all the days of thy life. And Joseph was pierced in his heart, dare not open his mouth to ever boast again. Brothers against. And it came to pass that Jacob said unto Joseph, Do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. Joseph said unto him, Here am I. And Jacob said unto Joseph, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. And thus did Jacob send Joseph out of the vale of Hebron. And he came to Shechem, and a certain man found him, and behold, there he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And Joseph said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They are departed hence, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And it came to pass that Joseph went after his brethren, and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer cometh. And now, therefore, let us slay him and cast him into some pit. And we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will come of his dreams. And it came to pass that when Joseph approached his brethren, and they made as to worship him and mock him, saying, Have mercy on us, O king. Save us, O mighty one. And they seized upon Joseph, and Dan drew his sword, as to kill him, and thrust it into the side of Joseph. Yet it pierced not his flesh, and they were all astonished. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Truly Yahweh hath chosen him, and the power of Elyon dwells within him. Therefore shed not his blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and we shall lay no hand upon him, that we might rid him out of our hands, to deliver him to our fathers again. And it came to pass that they stripped Joseph out of his tunic, his coat of many colors that was on him, and they took him and cast him into a pit. And the pit was empty, for there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and beheld a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brethren and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content. Then there passed by the Midianites merchantmen, and the brothers of Joseph drew him up and lifted Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And these merchantmen brought Joseph unto Egypt. And it came to pass that Reuben returned to the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes, and he returned unto his brethren, and said, The child is not, and I, whither shall I go? And they took the coat of Joseph and killed a kid of the goats, and they dripped the coat in the blood, and they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father and said, This have we found. Know now whether it be the coat of thy son or no. And Jacob knew it, and said, It is my son's coat. An evil beast hath devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And all the sons and all the daughters of Jacob rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And Jacob said, I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning. So did Jacob his father weep for him. It says all the sons and all the daughters implies that Jacob had more than one daughter. This likely refers to the men, women, and children in his household, and not related by blood. Chapter 4, Israel in bondage. And it came to pass that after the band of Midianites had departed, the chief of the Midianites, whose name was Shinnah, said unto Joseph, I see a great evil hath befallen thee. And by what means then doth thy brethren hateth thee so? And Joseph said unto him, It mattereth not, but know that I shall honor the word of my kin, for I shall serve thee all the days of my life. For it is the will of Elyon that I should go with you. And Shinnah replied, saying, So it shall it be. And Joseph spoke again unto Shinnah, saying, But I pray thee, go into the house of my father Jacob, and tell my father where thou shalt take me, that he worry not for my safety, and that I shall see for himself that I am gone willingly. Now, this gone willingly strikes me as very interesting. I read the sealed portion by Mercia. Anyways, in that book, pretty sure it was in that book, that Joseph went willingly. They didn't have to chain him or bind him. They said they bound him, but when they woke up in the morning, he was up feeding the animals and caring for the stock. And every time they tried to bind him, he would just be up working. So they just quit binding him. And he worked willingly because he knew it was of the Lord. This story agrees with that book. For the angel of Yahweh had come unto Joseph whilst he was in the pit, and said unto him, Joseph, I have heard thy murmurings, and witnessed thy afflictions. I saw thy tears, and I know thy misery, and I am grieved for thy sake, and thy afflictions is added to the burden of my afflictions. Therefore put thy trust in Elyon, and fear not, for Yahweh is with thee, and shall deliver thee from all evil. And now behold, thou shalt go down into Egypt with thy masters, but fear not, for Yahweh is with thee. And now thou art a high priest of Elyon, and thou shalt become a mighty ruler among the Egyptians. And I say unto thee, that Yahweh shall bless whomsoever thou shalt bless, and curse whomsoever thou shalt curse. For Hashem shall be in thee. Let's look up what Hashem means. Hebrew, literally the name. In the Egyptian, this could be translated as the name of God's word or divine word, Ra. Ra is the Egyptian creator God. The translation used Hashem was used based on inspiration from the Lord to the translator. And great shall be thy name in the land, wherefore Pharaoh shall know that thou art a prince of Elohim. And many other things did the angel of Yahweh say unto Joseph. Therefore he feared not, but put his faith in Yahweh Elohim. And it came to pass that Shinnach now feared that the brothers of Joseph had tricked him, and he feared reprisal from their father Jacob. Therefore Shinnach did command one of his sons to take a servant and go to Jacob, that Jacob might know that which had befallen his son Joseph. And it came to pass that when they came unto the house of Jacob, that they saw that Jacob wept bitterly, and the son of Shinnach and his servant fled the house of Jacob without fulfilling their obligation. But the son of Shinnach had snuck in and had taken the coat of Joseph, for he was thought to be a beggar, and mercy was given him. And he folded it up in a cloth and gave it unto the servant of Shinnach. And he came unto the servant, saying, We shall deliver back unto Joseph this tunic, that he shall believe all it be well with the house of his father and the house of my father, for surely Elyon has ordained it so. And the servant of Shinnach said, Surely, my lord, I shall do it. And it came to pass that Joseph rejoiced that his coat of many colors was returned unto him. And thinking his father knew that he was alive, he said, O mother, mother, didst thou offer my petition unto Yahweh? For his mother was no longer alive upon the earth. Didst thou take pity on me, she that bore me? Arise and come forth from the throne of Yahweh. Yea, come forth and see thy son hath been sold into slavery, for thou hast taken pity upon me. Arise, see thy son, and weep not over my misfortune, for Yahweh observes me, and hath set me apart from my brethren. Arise, and accuse not my brethren before Elyon, but see that Yahweh hath justified this thing, and it is my path, and I shall stand with Yahweh for all the days of my life. And the servant of Shinnach was amazed, and said, Surely this is true, and Elyon is with him, and if Yahweh be with him, then with my master also. Chapter 5. Joseph in Egypt. And it came to pass that the Midianites sold Joseph into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, and captain of the guard. And thus we see the word of Yahweh must be heard, for it was even as the father of Joseph saw in a vision, that Joseph should be taken and placed in the land of idolatry. And it came to pass that Yahweh was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And Joseph found grace in the sight of Potiphar, for he did see that Joseph had become a stout man and full of knowledge and wisdom. And so it was that Potiphar made Joseph the overseer over his whole house, and all that Potiphar had he put into the hand of Joseph, and Joseph served Potiphar well. And Yahweh did greatly bless the house of Potiphar on account of Joseph, and his master saw that Yahweh was with him, and that Yahweh made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And it came to pass that from that time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that Yahweh blessed the house of the Egyptian for the sake of Joseph, and the blessings of Yahweh was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And it came to pass that Potiphar did leave all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not what he had, save the bread which he did eat. And it came to pass that Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. And it came to pass that after these many things, that the wife of the master of Joseph did cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, Lie with me. But Joseph refused her, and said unto the wife of his master, I shall surely not lie with thee, for I have made an oath unto thy husband. Who art thou to tempt Yahweh? Behold, my master knoweth not what it is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he hath to my hand. There is none greater in thy house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against Elohim? And it came to pass, as she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not with her, to lie by her, or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled, and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house, and spoke unto them, saying, See, he hath brought in a Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. And when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled, and got him out. And it came to pass that she laid up his garment by her until his Lord came home. And then it was that she spoke unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to caress me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spoke unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And it came to pass that Potiphar commanded his slaves to seek after Joseph and deliver him up. And when Joseph was delivered unto Potiphar, that he did smite him upon the cheek, saying, I have appointed thee to be the master over my whole house. Yea, and there is but one, only I alone, over you. Why therefore hast thou dealt with me in this manner, to bring shame upon my house? And Joseph spoke not, that he not lay shame upon the house of his master, by shaming the wife of his master. And it came to pass that Joseph's master took him and put him into prison, a place where the prisoners of the king were bound, and he was there in the prison. But Yahweh was with Joseph, and showed him mercy, and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed into the hands of Joseph all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the overseer of it. And it came to pass that the keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under Joseph's hand, because Yahweh was with him. And that which Joseph did, Yahweh made to prosper. Chapter 6, Joseph in prison. Now, until the time in which he was taken, Joseph had studied the Torah and all the things of Yahweh. And so it was that he had become so learned that he could impart to his brethren all that he had heard from their father Jacob and his mother Rachel. And it came to pass that he did not stop studying when he was taken, but he was also learned in Egypt, that he might give good counsel in the ways of Yahweh in the language of the Egyptians. And it came to pass that because of this, he had become the favorite of the sons of Elohim. Among these, the sons of man. It says the sons of Elohim in the footnotes are those that belong to the Church of Christ. And the sons of man are those that do not. And it was because of this that the handmaids who came to serve the guards would kiss and embrace him. And he had been given charge over all of the other prisoners. And it was even as the angel of Yahweh had said, for wherever Joseph went, there was he blessed and favored. And it came to pass after these things that the chief cupbearer of Pharaoh and his cook had offended their lord, who was the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was wroth because two of his officers, even against the chief of his cupbearers and against the chief of his cooks. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard, into the prison, the place where Joseph was kept. And the chief guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them And it came to pass that they were kept there for a few days' time. And it came to pass that both the cupbearer and the cook came to dream a dream, both of them, the cupbearer and the cook of Pharaoh, which were bound in the prison. And each man found his dream in the same night. Each man understood not the meaning or the interpretation of his dream. And it came to pass that Joseph came in unto them in the morning and looked upon them, and they were very distraught. And Joseph asked the officers of Pharaoh that were with him in the word of the house of the master, saying, Wherefore look ye so sadly today? And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretations belong to Elohim? Tell me then thy dreams, I pray thee. And the chief cupbearer told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, In my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into the cup of Pharaoh, and I gave the cup into the hand of Pharaoh. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head and restore thee unto thy place. And thou shalt deliver the cup of Pharaoh into his hand after the former manner when thou wast his cupbearer. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I have come willingly out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. And when the chief cook saw the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head, and in the uppermost basket was all manner of baked goods for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, This is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was birthday of Pharaoh, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief cupbearer and of the chief cook among his servants. And he restored the chief cupbearer unto his position again, and he gave his cup into the hand of Pharaoh. But he hanged the chief cook, as Joseph had interpreted to them. And it came to pass that the chief cupbearer did not remember Joseph, but forgot him. And so it was that Joseph stayed a while longer in that prison. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed a dream, and behold, he stood by the Nile. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored cows that were of fatted flesh, and they fed among the reeds. And behold, 7 other cows came up after them out of the Nile, ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by these first 7 cows upon the bank of the Nile. And the ill-favored and lean-fleshed cows did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat cows. And Pharaoh awoke from his dream. And it came to pass that Pharaoh slept and dreamed a 2nd time. And behold, 7 heads of grain came up upon one stalk, fattened and ripe and good. And behold, 7 thin heads, blasted with the heat of the east wind, sprung up after them. And the 7 thin heads devoured the 7 ripe and full heads. And Pharaoh again awoke, and he beheld it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dreams, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. And it came to pass that chief cupbearer spoke unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in ward in the chief guard's house, both me and thy chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, a Hebrew servant, to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams, to each man according to his dream. He did interpret, and it came to pass, as he interpreted it to us, so it was. Me he restored into mine office, and as to the cook, he was strung up. And it came to pass that after this Pharaoh sought to discover this Hebrew, and sent his men about to learn what could be made known of him. And it came to pass that when Pharaoh was apprised of him, he sent and called for Joseph. And the servants of Pharaoh brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And he shaved himself, and changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh. To the ancient Egyptians, hairstyles, age, gender, and class as appearance determined and reflected dignity, status, and political significance. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Why didst thou pretend that thou wast a slave? And Joseph looked at Pharaoh in wonder, but said nothing. Then came Pharaoh again, saying, We have seen that thou art the son of a powerful man in Canaan, and thy father mourns for thee in sackcloth. And Joseph saw that he had been lied to by the son of Chanah and his servant, and that his father knew not that his son was yet alive. And Joseph was sorry in his heart for the sake of his father, but he kept this in his heart. And he said unto Pharaoh that he was a slave, and that he had left the house of his father willingly. Then Pharaoh spoke unto Joseph, saying, Thou art renowned in all of Egypt as an interpreter of dreams, and that thy Elohim art with thee. And Joseph said, Thou dost speak highly of me, and I am but a slave, yet Yahweh is with me. And tell me therefore thy dream, that I might make known unto my master, O Pharaoh, the meaning thereof. And Pharaoh looked at Joseph, knowing not what to think. But he spoke unto him, saying, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard it said of thee, that thou canst understand this dream to interpret it. And thus Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me, for truly I am but dust and ashes, and there is no wisdom in me. Yet the very breath of Yahweh El Elyon, who is with me, can tell me the meaning thereof. Therefore Elohim shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river, and behold, there came out of the river 7 fattened and well-favored cows, and they fed in a meadow of reeds. And behold, 7 other cows came up after them, poor and very ill-favored, and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt, for their sickliness. And the lean and the ill-favored cows did eat up the first 7 fat cows. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them. But they were still ill-favored, as at the beginning, and I awoke. And when I slept again, I saw in my dream, and beheld 7 heads of grain did come up on one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 heads withered thin, and blasted with the heat of the east wind, sprang up after them. And the thin heads devoured the 7 good heads. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me. And Joseph paused and listened for the breath of Yahweh within him. And then Joseph said unto Pharaoh, Both of these dreams of Pharaoh is one dream. How Elohim hath shown Pharaoh what shall come to pass. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored heads of grain that come up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty heads of grain, blasted with the heat of the east wind, shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh, what Ha Elohim is about to do, and Pharaoh hath been warned that he might save his people. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, and there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land, and the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because this thing is established by Ha Elohim, and Ha Elohim will surely bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenty years, and let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up grains of plenty under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And that food shall be for storage to the land against 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. Chapter 8. The mother of 2 nations. And it came to pass that Pharaoh gathered his servants, and told them all that Joseph had said. And speaking unto them, Pharaoh said, Can we find such a one as this, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And the servants of Pharaoh murmured amongst themselves, saying, What manner of man is this that shall lay his neck out? For if he shall fail at his task, surely Pharaoh shall put him to death. And thinking themselves wiser than Yahweh Elohim, these, the servants of Pharaoh, spoke unto Pharaoh, saying, Surely this man Joseph, he who could tell thee thy dream, when all the magicians and wise men in Egypt could not, surely he should do it. And Pharaoh saw through their fears, but also saw the wisdom in this thing. Therefore he did call again for Joseph. And it came to pass that when Joseph came before Pharaoh, that he spoke unto Joseph, saying, Forasmuch as Ha Elohim hath shown thee all these, there is none as discerning and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Observe, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon the hand of Joseph, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him to ride in the 2nd chariot which he had, and they cried before him, saying, Bow the knee. And Pharaoh made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called the name of Joseph Zephnath-Pani, and he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, the priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt, and none of the women of Egypt were as beautiful as the mothers of Joseph, Rachel, Rebekah, Sarah, except Asenath. Yea, and the sons of the princes and the sons of the kings, also all young and mighty men, did desire her. And there was great strife among them because of her. And even the firstborn son of Pharaoh did desire her. But Asenath set these at naught, and scorned every man, she being boastful and haughty. And it came to pass that she despised her husband Joseph at the first for being a slave and a foreigner. She did see him as being beneath her, for she knew not Yahweh. And it came to pass that Pharaoh did give unto her and unto her father many precious things, even jewelry and fine linen. Therefore she did say, Blessed by my husband, first among the servants of Pharaoh, and second only to Pharaoh in all the land. But in her heart she did not love her husband, but her love was for the precious things and the maidens and the servants that she had been given. And she wept and hid herself from her husband, that she might not know him. For though Joseph was handsome, she desired not to be the mother of slaves. And it came to pass that after many days she did conceive to lay with her husband, for she was the daughter of an Egyptian priest, and had been taught to see wisdom. And she did perceive the wisdom from Ha Elohim in her husband, and came to desire to know Yahweh. And behold, her husband Joseph did teach her to petition Yahweh Elohim, and she did pray. For she did see that Yahweh Elohim was El Elyon, the Most High God, even before the Elohim of the Egyptians. And it came to pass that in the house of Joseph was an altar unto Yahweh, like unto that which Jacob, the father of Joseph, had made. And there Asenath did pour water in libation upon the altar, and prayed her petition unto Yahweh. And it came to pass that the angel of Yahweh did come to her, saying, Behold, thy husband Joseph is a prince in Egypt. For his mother Sarah was wife to Pharaoh in her day, and El Elyon hath sent this, her son, back into this land, that he might offer salvation into the house of Egypt and unto the house of Israel. Thy husband Joseph is a chosen vessel from among the children of men, and a great blessing unto all the earth. And from these shall come two great and mighty nations in the hands of Yahweh. And behold, thou shalt be the mother of two mighty nations. Therefore raise these, the seed of thy husband, in righteousness unto Yahweh, the Elohim of thy husband, and now the Elohim of you. For Yahweh exalts whom he will, and Yahweh abases whom he will. And who can stay his mighty hand? Therefore I say unto thee, thou shalt name the first Manasseh, and the second Ephraim, and these shall be fruitful and grow as vines throughout the whole earth. And Yahweh seeth all these things, that he may richly reward the faithful. For Yahweh delights in the righteousness of his children, and he may prosper them with all blessings. Therefore walk thou humbly before thy Yahweh, and in haughtiness no longer. For Yahweh has ordained thy husband to be a savior in the land of Egypt. And thy people shall bear him on their shoulders, and call him blessed. Moreover, thou shalt preserve thy house, and the holy wisdom of Yahweh from destruction. And when many days have passed, thy seed shall be cause for a great work of Yahweh in the sight of the infidel unto the glory of Yahweh. And I say unto thee, even as thy husband hath suffered, thou shalt live in abundance and prosperity all thy days. Therefore partake of this honeycomb and live. And after she had eaten and drunk of the honeycomb, the angel of Yahweh spoke again unto her, saying, Thou hast eaten of the bread of life, and drunken from the cup of immortality, and thou hast been anointed before thou wast born to be a high priestess, to act in the name of Yahweh. Therefore go unto thy husband, and ask of him to teach thee all that he knoweth of Yahweh, and to impart upon thee the wisdom of his coat of many colors, for woven into it are the secret mysteries of Yahweh. And it came to pass that when her husband did return unto his household, that she did speak these things unto him, and he did rejoice, and did make an offering unto Yahweh. And it came to pass that Joseph did impart unto his wife Asenath all that he knew of Yahweh Elohim. And Joseph did bless and ordain his wife a high priestess unto El Elyon, the Most High God, even as Melchizedek had his mother, Sarah, and he did give unto her all the signs and tokens, and Yahweh did place a seal upon them. In the ancient world, honeycomb was a symbol of prosperity. Eating of the honeycomb and drinking the honey may also be symbolic of the sacrament of communion. That's actually the thought I had. Bread represents the Torah. Bread nourishes the body as the Torah nourishes the soul. The cup represents the feminine aspect of God. The liquid in the cup symbolizes the sacrifice of Jesus' blood for mankind. By drinking from the cup, we accept Jesus' sacrifice. That's beautiful. Chapter 9, 2 nations born in famine. And it came to pass that when Joseph was 30 years old, he had stood before Pharaoh, who was the king of Egypt. And having gone out from the presence of Pharaoh, Joseph went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years, the earth brought forth her fruits by handfuls. And Joseph gathered up all the food for the 7 years, which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities, the food of the field, which was round about every city, laid he up in the same city. And Joseph gathered grains as the sands of the sea, and behold, it was so numerous that he left numbering, for it was without number. And it came to pass that Joseph knew his wife Asenath, and she conceived, and unto them were born 2 sons, as the years of famine were about to come in. And Joseph called the name of the first Manasseh. For God, said Joseph, hath made me forget all my toil and all the house of my father. And the name of the second Joseph called Ephraim, for God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. And this was done, even as the angel of Yahweh had said unto Asenath, according to the word of Yahweh. And Asenath lifted up her voice in petition to Yahweh, saying, Yahweh, El Elyon, who didst create all things, and didst call them from darkness unto light, and from error into truth, and from death into life. Yea, El Elyon hath created the heavens above, and the earth we stand upon, and the waters of the deep. O Yahweh, hear my supplication. Yea, unto thee, Yahweh, I present my supplication, for thou, O Yahweh, didst stretch forth thy hand over me, even as a father that loves his children, in thy pity and ignorance. And thou hast grown as a tree within me for the sake of thy wisdom. And because of this have I abandoned the Elohim of my fathers, and destroyed their likenesses. For thou, O Yahweh, hast delivered me from their hands, and rescued me from that serpent that sought to rip at me. Cast me into the abyss, into the deepest depths of the Nile. But I have been swallowed up in the arms of my mother. And thou, O Yahweh, hast me when the father and mother of my flesh didst deny me. For I have left behind their Elohim for thee, and I have no other hope save in thee, O Yahweh. Therefore, Yahweh, renew my flesh, give me power by thy breath, that I should raise these, my sons, unto thee, O Yahweh, that they too might eat of the bread of life, and drink the cup of thy blessing, which thou hast prepared for thine elect. And it came to pass that the angel of Yahweh appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Thy sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, these shall be 2 mighty nations before Yahweh, and they shall be as 2 stiff-necked and rebellious goats, which run away when they hear the voice of the shepherd. And it shall come to pass that in the latter days they shall be a scourge and a terror, and shall fight Yahweh when he comes to reward the sons of men. However, a remnant shall be faithful unto Yahweh, and El Elyon shall give them the earth as an inheritance. With thee, after I have raised up thy bones from the dust. And it came to pass, not many days after this, that Yahweh spoke unto Joseph, saying, Behold, the famine which shall overtake the land is at hand. And when the famine has become a sore burden on thy kindred, thy brothers shall appear unto you. Be merciful unto them, even as I have been merciful unto thee. And all shall be well with thee and the house of thy master. And it came to pass that 7 years of plenteous that was in the land of Egypt were ended, and the 7 years of famine began to come according to the dreams given Pharaoh of Ha Elohim, even as Joseph had said. And the famine was in all lands, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, whatsoever he saith to you, do. And it came to pass that the adversary came unto Joseph, tempting him to say unto the Egyptians, Behold, if thou wilt but give up your allegiance unto deceitful idols, and if ye shall say, Blessed is Yahweh who giveth bread unto all flesh, then shall I give thee bread. But the breath of Yahweh was upon Joseph, and he knew they should refuse to deny their Elohim, and the famine was over all the face of the earth. And thus it was that Joseph opened all the storehouses, sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. Therefore Joseph let go his arrogance, and gave unto all they that came in need to buy grains. And Joseph was blessed, and the people of Egypt were blessed, and the Egyptians, being well fed and in the famine, did go about saying, Surely Ha Elohim hath brought a Messiah unto Egypt, and Pharaoh hath blessed us, for they knew not Yahweh Elohim. And all countries came into Egypt to buy to Joseph for to buy grain. And all countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy grain, because that the famine was so sore in all the lands. Chapter 10. A fifth part of Pharaoh. And it came to pass that there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Joseph had gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the grain which they bought. And Joseph brought the money into the house of Pharaoh. And it came to pass that when money ran out in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money is gone. And Joseph said, Bring then unto me your livestock, and I will give you for your livestock, if money fail. And they brought their livestock unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of the herds, and for the asses. And he fed them with bread for all their livestock for that year. And it came to pass that when that year was ended, they came unto him the second year, and said unto him, We will not hide it from my Lord, how that our money is spent. My Lord hath also our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of the Lord, but our bodies and our lands. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed, that we may live and not die, that the land may be not desolate. And it came to pass that Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. And so the land became the land of Pharaoh. And as for the people, he removed them to cities, from one end of the borders of Egypt even to the other end thereof. Only the land of the priests bought he not, for the priests had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh, and did eat their portion, which Pharaoh gave them, wherefore they sold not their lands. And it came to pass that Joseph said unto the people, Behold, I have bought you this day and your land for Pharaoh, and lo, here is the seed for you, and ye shall sow the land. And it came to pass, and in the increase, that ye shall give the fifth part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be your own, the seed of the field, and for your food, and for them of your household, and for food of your little ones. And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be the servants of Pharaoh. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day that Pharaoh should have the 5th part, except the land of the priests only, which did not belong to Pharaoh. Chapter 11. Israel in Egypt. I'm going to save this for next time. Thank you so much for joining me on Prophets of Babel today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.